is provided by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com.
Hey, this is Gary from Night Dreams Talk Radio. I want to welcome a new sponsor to our show, PhoenixShaving.com. I know what you're thinking, right? Oh, another disposable razor company. Well, the fact is they're not. You remember the razors that your father and his father shaved with? Did you ever notice they didn't have, well, the embarrassing razor burn or ingrowing hairs or the razor bumps after they shaved? Did you notice they were also relaxed after they were done shaving? Well, the problem is these big corporations want to sell you razor after razor after razor. Think about how much money you spend a year on razors. Or do you use electric razor? Then you're going to find out what razor burn is. So you need to check out Phoenix Shaving Starter Kits. They come complete with the soap, the brush, and a 2.5-month supply of blades. And the most important part of it, an all-metal razor, built to last generations. So, hey, you can donate it to one of your sons when they turn 18. Check out PhoenixShaving.com and tell them that Gary from Night Dream said, hey, I want one. That's PhoenixShaving.com now.
Check out Night Dream's website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com.
You're listening to Night Dreams Radio with Gary Anderson.
Hey, that is me. Here it is. It's Friday already. The work week for most people is over. Hey, you know what? Today, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. You know, we had a computer fail this morning, or actually it failed last night, so we replaced the computer with a backup one. Well, that computer worked fine, but then all of a sudden, it's like a Christmas tree chain, light bulbs. You know, you have one light go out, then another one goes out, then another one goes out. Well, we just got done replacing another computer here the last hour. Sweating bullets. Hey, Dark Waters, are you there?
Absolutely, I'm here, my friend. How are you?
Well, I'm sweating bullets, but I'm fine right now anyway.
Well, I think we'll be fine. I just think we need to roll with it. You know, we have those kind of days, man, when everything's trying to go wrong and something's working against you, but we got to make it happen.
Oh, yeah. So how you been since the last time we talked? Anything new and exciting go on?
I have some crazy stuff going on that I think people will find interesting. This happened, today is Friday, so this happens Wednesday, and this is crazy. I'm sitting at work at my computer, and my phone rings, right? It rings once, and I hit ignore because I'm actually on another phone line. Then it rings again. And I'm like, okay, I hit ignore again. Then it rings a third time. The third time it rings, I hit ignore, but I send a text message. I'm like, hey, what's up? This is Dark Waters. What can I do for you? Then there's no response. Then I think about it. I say, okay, let me call this person back. So I call back, and I get a voicemail. I'm like, okay, whatever. Leave a message. Hey, this is Dark Waters. Bada bing, bada boom. You know, I'm just trying to catch up with you, follow back up with you. You blowing me up during the middle of the day. What's going on? Then I checked the voicemail message that was left on my phone from that number that called. It's playing the person's voicemail to my phone, right? Now, it doesn't sound strange until we figure out what happens next.
Oh, what happened? What happened?
So what happens next is I get a text message back, and the guy's saying, hey, I didn't call you. You called me. And I'm like, no, I didn't call you. You called me. So we go back and forth a little bit. Finally, he calls me back, and it's one of the other talk show hosts in the industry, and he's like, look, do you know who I am? I'm like, yeah, bro, I think we've talked before. And he was like, I swear to you, I didn't call you. And I was like, bro, your phone called me. I can send you a screenshot of the call and the voicemail message. He was like, well, your phone was calling me at the same time. And I was like, what do you mean? So your phone was literally calling me, and I heard your voicemail in my messages. I was like, so you mean you got a voicemail message from my voicemail? He was like, yes. So I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is weird. Now, this is the guy who does the Confessionals podcast, and I don't have his information in my phone at all. We spoke once about 6 months ago, but I didn't save any of his information. So, I mean, because everybody saved in my phone with a name, so it was just a number that came up. So he and I start talking that evening, and we go through it, and he's like, dude, this is so freaky, it's scary. And I was like, well, welcome to the Dark Waters family, man. This is the kind of stuff that happens to me all the time. And he's like, bro, I'm telling you, I did not call you. I said, I believe you, man. I said, it's either one of the spirits or God trying to connect us for whatever reason. So we're going to end up doing an interview, hopefully in the next couple of months, just to chop it up on air and see what comes out of it, because that was something trying to connect us to talk. What it's about, we haven't completely figured it out. We kind of got a clue what it is, because we both have similar beliefs on some topics, but we haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet. But it's crazy, man. That kind of crazy stuff happens.
Oh, yeah. That has happened to me, where, somebody, the phone will ring and, I'll answer it and I'll go, well, whatever, and they'll go, what do you mean? You just called me. And I go, no, I didn't call you. My phone just rang. It was you. No, I never called you. That's strange stuff when that happens.
Yeah, but the difference is yours is like a completely random person that you never spoke to before, and they're probably outside of that field that you're working in. This is somebody that's in our field that I've only spoken to once, who didn't even have my information in his phone. So it's not like he had my phone number saved in his phone to call me. Neither one of us had the other person's information saved inside their telephones. So I can't explain what that was, man. It was just freaky.
That would be freaky. Well, hopefully you booked a show out of the deal anyway, I hope.
Yeah, we're going to do a show, but I just thought it was crazy, man. I just thought it was crazy. And it's a good evening. Nice and cool out here on the porch in New Orleans. I love telling stories from the porch. Kind of got bogged down where I do them inside at my desk. But it's a different vibe when you're outside in the middle of the night and it's dark, the street lamps are on, and you can just sit here and hold the conversation. This is how it all started, buddy. I started off doing my first interview sitting on this very same porch. Just like I take a lot of my phone calls on this very same porch in the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
I mean, up to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, man.
Well,
crazy, but
does any of the neighbors ever stare at you when you're on your porch talking on the phone late at night?
No, they'll come outside and listen. My next door neighbor come outside and listen. And she'll be like, oh, that was a good story you told. My neighbor across the street, sometimes he's out there smoking his cigar. And he'll be like, hey, James, you on the radio? I'll be like, yeah, buddy. He's like, I'm going to tune in. And he'll go inside and tune in. But other than that, it's all good. It's a pretty quiet neighborhood once it settles down at night,
Oh, yeah. Wow. Any great scary stories tonight? It's Friday night, so tonight would be a great night for some scary stuff.
Yeah, I got all kinds of scary stuff. It just depends on which direction you want to go. How scary we talking? We talking about deep to the bottom of the well scary? You want to say that towards the end, or you just want to start off with let's do some local stuff.
Yeah, let's do some stuff in your area first.
All right, so let me give everybody listening some background. Well, we talked about my grandmother last time I was on and how my family dealt in hoodoo, right?
Right.
And I think I told you a little bit about I've been doing my research and trying to learn more about what she was doing, trying not to be as afraid of it as I have been in the past, even though as I've done more research, I realized that I had a reason to be afraid of her because she was extremely powerful and the stuff she was doing was next level. But in the process of searching, I ended up going to several kind of botanical shops and spiritual shops. And for those of you guys who don't know what a botanical shop is, it's a place where you kind of buy spiritual things like candles, incense, holy water, Florida water, all that other stuff, right?
Oh, right.
So me with my magnetic personality, I go in and after the first 2 visits, everybody knows me, everybody loves me. It is what it is, right? So I'm in there. I go and I buy my St. Michael's candles, stuff like St. Lazarus, St. Jude, stuff for protection around my household. And I invest heavily in it to protect myself and my sons and everybody around me because I'm doing spiritual work and paranormal work. Well, some stories coming out of this shop. Let's start with the first one. This is not super scary, but it is a scary story. I'm talking to one of the gentlemen who works there, and I say, hey, man, you know, what's the worst thing that's ever happened when you've been working here? And now the way this guy talks, I'm going to try and mimic it. He talks funny, and he'll make you think that he's kind of like got Asperger's disease or something like that, or some kind of disorder. But he doesn't. It's just how he talks. So he says, James, you know, the weirdest thing that ever happened to me happened about 6 years ago. And then he takes these long pauses, man, like crazy long pauses. You know that some people use pauses to create this uncomfortable silence, but his are just way beyond that 4-second pause. It's like 6, 8 seconds. And so you're standing there looking at him. He's like, you know, I was in here by myself and I was getting ready to close. And he's like, I'll never forget because I was taking the money off the St. Lazarus statue and putting it at the bottom of the statue. And he's like, I use that money for when someone comes in and they need some money or they just want to borrow money. I just tell them to get whatever they need from the statue. And he's like, this lady walks in and she's African. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean African? He's like, no, she's African, like from Africa. And I'm like, well, what part of Africa? He's like, I don't know, but she's African. She's got a heavy African accent. And she starts requesting these herbs. And he was like, she wanted a John the Conqueror root, and she wanted herbs and roots. And if you know anything about John the Conqueror root, anybody knows anything about that, it's a root that's used for good luck and money and things of that nature. Well, she requested John the Conqueror root. She requested a whole bunch of different roots, and he started to realize what she was getting was the elements for a necromancy spell. And so he starts to, and he's a great guy. He's a Christian, which confused the hell out of me because I didn't realize. I'm thinking, you know, you're working there, you wouldn't be a Christian, but turns out he is. And so he starts to say, well, what are you going to use this for? And she looks at him, and he says one of her eyes, not both, but one of her eyes, she blinks that one eye, and that eyeball turns black, and then she blinks it again, and it's the regular color again. Like it's, you imagine somebody blink their left eye, and that whole eyeball turns black, and then she blinks it again, and it's a regular eyeball. And I said, bro, I would have ran out of here. And he was like, you know, he's like, I've been around these kind of people before, and I've been around these things before, and if you show them fear, then they'll run over you. I said, well, what did you do? He said, I told her to leave, and I wasn't selling her a damn thing. And I said, well, did she leave? He said, I commanded her to leave in the name of Jesus, and she left. I said, well, how did she leave? You know, I'm in there kind of joking around with him. And imagine me being silly. I'm standing at the counter, and I start kind of spinning around in circles. And like, did she leave like this? You know, spinning around and going towards the door. And he's like, that's not funny, man. That's not funny. That's not funny. After he started getting offended, I realized how scared he was because he started getting offended. He's like, that's not funny, man. You shouldn't joke like that. That's not funny. And I'm like, nah, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm trying to break the ice on this story. And I said, well, how did she leave? He said she did back out the exact way she walked in. I was like, what do you mean? And that's what started freaking me out because this is not the first time I heard of somebody that has the whole black eye deal, like walking in a place and then not turning around and walking out, but backing out like they're keeping their eyes on you. He was like, she backed down the aisle, turned to the right, shifted to the right, and backed out of the door. I said, did she even turn around and press the door? He's like, nope, she opened the door with her back and walked out. And the door closed and she went to the right. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's pretty freaky.
Yeah, it is, actually.
That's pretty freaky. And then he told me some other stories about, skip that, let me tell you this next one. So I'm there again. And you'll be amazed at the reasons why people go to